Probably add myself to the stage. What's going on? Welcome to the 129th episode of Collecting Profit, your weekly sports cards and sports talk show. I do have a few announcements to make. Two. Number one, I had to move tomorrow night. Hey, Johnny, what's going on, buddy? I had to move tomorrow night's Rip and Ship because last weekend, Father's Day. Oh, hope everybody had a great Father's Day. Let's get that out of the way. But on Father's Day weekend, everything, I had to work, Saturday and Sunday. So I didn't get a chance to take pictures of the product. I know. What's up, Dommy? Let me go ahead and Matty Ice couldn't stay, but holy cow, 4 a.m., 13-hour work days. Woo! Johnny, what's up? Dommy, what's up? So, I thought about just using images off of the internet, but I just didn't know, I didn't think that would be right for people. So I can go ahead and take pictures of the product. So I had to move it from tomorrow to next week. Well, now I have to probably figure out when I'm going to do it. Have to move it sometime to July because I found out that I probably have to work Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday, Sunday of next week. So that really sucks because I really want to get back into the rip and ships to see what we could do on Dibdit, see if we can get some more traction, more people in. But we'll see. Do it on Friday. No one is on anymore. What happened to Arnie? Because Arnie doesn't go live anymore. He stopped. I haven't been paying attention. Like I said, work has been crazy enough to where I've just been, real busy and stuff like that. With I got a lot of big projects going on. I mean, luckily they're local to where I am, so I get to come home every single night and stuff. But it's just been just super busy. Got some really big projects. Like I said, next week I have to work. I have two other weekends in July that I'm going to have to work. So I got to try and figure out, my problem, I just what sucks is I'm have to miss wrestling too, which sucks. But so that was the one announcement. Close tonight? Nah. Second announcement, and this is a big one because it directly affects the show. Walken wants to join the show tonight. I don't care. Anybody can join the show. No, the dog. Right? Yeah. That is Thor. He's a German short-haired pointer. His sister Charlotte just left. So the show. I think it is time to make a change, with the show and everything. And what that is, I think it's going to be best if I go ahead and move the show to starting at 9 p.m. on Wednesdays. I think it's going to be better overall. I think I'll have, on the off weeks, when we're not doing our wrestling, on the weeks when we're not doing our wrestling preview shows, I think at 9 o'clock would be better. I think it gives me the ability maybe to, to get some more guests, because 9 o'clock is a little bit better hour to start. So that is coming. Um, and I think I'm going to start in July. So I think next week's show, let me look at the calendar real fast. Yeah, so next week's show, June 25th, um, which is going to be a tough show. But June 25th will be the last show at 10 o'clock. And then starting in July 2nd, we will go to 9 p.m. Anthony and I are going to be kicking off a new podcast. We're going to be doing, I think right now, looks like we are going to be potentially focusing, excuse me, on a football podcast. So, so like I said, we got some changes, coming, and like I said, that's okay. It'll be good. That's true. Next week we gotta do Night of Champions. So yeah. Uh yeah. Like I said, next Wednesday we'll do a wrestling show, and it'll be a little tough show to do, but that's neither here nor there. Congratulations to the Florida Panthers, back-to-back Stanley Cup champions. It's something that we need to, appreciate that. Uh, you know, uh, we don't really get to see, we don't get to see that a lot. We have, I mean, really haven't had, those back to back, uh, excuse me, those, I mean, we get to see it, but we don't get to see it. So it's kind of, it's kind of weird, but, congratulations to Florida. I mean, look, I give Florida a lot of, a lot of credit. They made some moves, trade deadline, made themselves better. And come on, let's face it, the Stanley Cup champions coming from Miami, Florida. I mean, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. We've had Miami win twice. We've had Florida win twice. We had Tampa Bay, you know, uh, you know, they won twice. So who knew? Hockey, Florida, holy cow, big ones, big ones. Um, Basketball, we have the finals. We got Thursday tomorrow night, game number 6. Tyrese Halliburton, who supposedly has a calf injury, probably not going to play, but who knows? We'll see. Might be convenient. If he doesn't play, who steps up for the basketball team from Indiana? Against OKC. So will we get a champion tomorrow? Who knows? Um, you know, so we'll see what happens. College baseball World Series going on. We had a no hitter pitched for the first time in, what was it? I think since sometime in the 60s, maybe early 60s. And I might be wrong on that. I might just be pulling that number out of nowhere. But that's going on. So a lot of good stuff, going on. Goldberg returned. Does he beat Gunther? Well, it is very confusing. Uh, you know, the whole thing now makes me wonder, did they take the belt off of Jay because they didn't want Jay going against Gunther? Jay going against Goldberg. It is it is his retirement match. So does he beat Gunther? I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to think, but the guys who really had in the WWE, the guys who really, really had their final match where it wasn't, like a Ric Flair type of thing. I'm not wrestling anymore. Although I don't know if Ric Flair ever officially retired until that last joke of a match he had where it was him and Andrade against Jeff Jarrett and the other guy names escapes me. So from that standpoint, but to me, there is zero reason to have Goldberg win. Again, is it are they concerned about drawing in Atlanta? Is that part of it? Because the show is here. The show is in Atlanta. It's going to be at Saturday Night Main Event. Not really Atlanta. It's going to be in, I believe, going to be in Gwinnett County. I think it's going to be at State or well, I don't know actually. I don't know if they're going into the arena in Gwinnett or if they're going to be in downtown. They're probably going to be in downtown for WWE. I think if AEW comes here, they go to Gwinnett County and use that arena over there. It makes zero sense to have him win. For what? Again, he can't, because here's the thing. You got to look at this in a couple different ways. Number one, again, I think he would be the first guy to lose. Okay, State Farm Arena. Yeah. I think State Farm is the one that's down that is down in Atlanta. I have to look that up. But if you were to have him win and in his final match, I mean, isn't that again? Wouldn't that? Yeah, State Farm. Let me see here. Yeah, so that's downtown Atlanta. So you have him win. To me, again, that's the first. I think he would be the first guy to go ahead and win his true final match. The other caveat to this is if it's his final match and he retires as a champion, which basically takes that away from John Cena of saying that he's going to be the champion, to go ahead and retire, right? So it kind of is crazy. What's up, Sean? How you doing, buddy? You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of interesting, from that perspective, but I don't know. I mean, Goldberg has gotten hurt twice in the lead up to this match. He's had to stop working out twice for injuries. So again, I don't know, I really don't know what that does. I don't know how that all that is going to be affected, from that standpoint. Uh, I mean, like I said, honestly, he can't win. It makes no sense if he wins. It doesn't prove anything if he wins. And let's face it, you you already made, in my opinion, and John, we talked about it. You already have made Gunther look a little weak by having at WrestleMania having him tap out in a matter of seconds to Jay. Now you're gonna have him lose to Goldberg. I mean, he's buried. He's buried. I don't know why they are even honoring him. He did nothing to WWE. Right. That's the thing that gets me, Larkin. It's not like he was a WWE guy. All his thing, a lot of these guys from WCW, they only came over when they did to potentially go in the Hall of Fame. That's the only reason why Sting came. They thought he was going to have a dream match with Undertaker, but he got hurt in the match with Seth Rollins. But the truth is then they put him in the Hall of Fame. Why? Because he had 4 matches? It's it's stupid. Yeah, well, the only thing that look, and the only thing that sells the tickets is it's the combination of him being from here and it being his last match. That's the only thing that maybe gives them a little boost in tickets. Because Saturday Night Main Event, what? Do we think Saturday Night Main Event is going to be good? I mean, we'll talk about it more when we do the preview show. But do we really think it's going to be great? Now, Liv Morgan is hurt. You know. Oh, wait a minute. Whoop. He's a draw for them. Is the only thing. Yeah, potentially. They should sell a few more tickets down. They should. They should. They should sell. Excuse me. They should sell a little more because he's from the area, and it's his last match. Those are the only two reasons. I don't know if it was going to be a sellout, to be honest with you, because don't forget, you have 3 shows that weekend. You have Saturday night main event. You have the show earlier, the Great American Bash with NXT, and then on Sunday you have the women's Evolution. I don't know. I haven't checked. I have relinquished the Lace tag belts. No, they just announced today she's going to probably be out 6 months. That she's going to. It sounds like she's going to require surgery, and Liv is out 6 months. That basically puts her out the rest of this year. So you think about what was just beginning to freaking happen. She was going to have the match against Nikki Bella. She was going to all of a sudden it seemed to be getting something with Io Sky, and the whole Judgment Day thing. Now, one of the things they can do is at least they can spin it, and now they can have Roxanne, you know, and Dom be a new thing together, and then when Liv comes back, they can jump back into that, assuming that Judgment Day stays together. Uh, but yeah, but John, on what was it? I was looking on X. Let me see if I can find it. Looking on X, it was Elite Rockers. Per Body Slam net, Liv Morgan is expected to be out of action about 6 months due to her dislocated shoulder injury. So, not good. Not good. Again, they were just getting ready to put her in programs. So I guess it does. I does. So they, yeah. Well, they're definitely gonna have to relinquish. It's gonna be, but to be honest with you, who are you gonna relinquish it to? The women's tag is non-existent. Yeah, tickets are left. Yeah, because tickets there are ridiculous. To go ahead and sit on the floor, it's nuts. It's nuts. Unless they decide to, unless maybe the rest of this month they leave it that way, and when July hits, they try and do a special for people. Maybe either all 3 events or 2 of the 3 events they put together. So who knows? Who really knows? Yeah, I mean, knowing them, that's what they'll do. They'll do some kind of tournament. But again, where are those people? Where are they going to come from? You could put Maxine and Natty together. That could be one. Okay. You look at all the other ones and everything, right? Becky, no Bailey, no Io, no Rhea, no Raquel, no Bianca, no Jade, no Naomi, no Nia, no Tiffany. I mean, who you using? All of them will probably be the best show of the year. Yeah, yeah, I don't disagree with you. All in, and they've been doing they've been doing really good AEW. I wish I'm gonna have to start watching a little more, even on replay and stuff, because they have been doing a really good job. Right, and you have Cody. So Friday night we have Cody versus Jay, and we have Sammy versus Sammy versus Orton. So I mean, it's very interesting. Those 2 last King of the Ring qualifying matches are really uh very interesting. They set up the 2 friends, and if Jay were to win, and you let Sammy win, wow, then you have even a crazier one for the pay-per-view. Um, you know, I think Sammy's gonna win. I think Sammy's gonna win because King of the Ring is in Saudi Arabia. I mean, and he is of, Arab descent. He is, so I mean, I can go ahead and see him winning. Like I said, my thoughts were Sammy wins it. Sammy goes to SummerSlam. Sammy wins SummerSlam, and then either at SummerSlam or on the Raw after SummerSlam, Seth cashes in. I think Sammy is a cash in champion. You know, Bailey, Lyra, Asuka, right? Yeah, but the thing is Jade and Bianca. I mean, will they go back to being friends? Oscar and Kyrie, but now they let. I mean, are you going to do that with Oscar going ahead and winning her match, her return match in the King of the Ring tournament? So I don't know. I'm not sure what they're going to do. They could do that. I'm not 100% sure. Oh, he's Syrian. Okay, sorry. I thought. Oh, okay. I thought I didn't realize he was Syrian. I thought he was. I thought he part of his family was from Saudi. So if he stays away from there, so what are we? I mean, do we really want to see Orton and Cody, or Orton and Jay? I just don't see either one of them being good matches. I just don't. That's my humble opinion. You know. Uh, let's see. Sammy Canadian. So he's a series. Yeah. Yeah. So it'll be interesting. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. Will he go ahead and will Sammy go? Will CM Punk go? I mean, the best part of Cena's heel turn has really been his time on the mic. This, it really hasn't been necessarily his in ring performance. But again, if you go by the mentality of I'm going to ruin wrestling, he's not supposed to have good matches. He's supposed to have crappy matches. He's supposed to do whatever he has to do just to win because the end goal is to retire as the last real champion. So who knows? Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? We got Cena against Ron Killings on Friday also. They're talking about SmackDown will be going back to 2 hours. Now I've heard different I've heard different start dates. Some people said August, some people said sometime in July. Not 100% sure, but USA wants to put a new show. I think it's called Rainmaker or something along those lines on Friday nights after SmackDown. So SmackDown will be going back down to 2 hours. So from that standpoint, so who knows? We got changes there. Hey, Dusty, how you doing? Yep, Raw 2.5 hours. I don't know. Um, you know, it's yeah, it is what it is. Unfortunately, just at that point in time now. I mean, you know, like I said to me, I just, I wonder how much some of this stuff is TKO versus, WWE. because it everything is not a total dud, but you you don't have as many great things. You have like one, maybe two good things, and then you know who knows. We will see what happens. Uh, Shohei got back on the mound this past week. Monday night, he threw an inning against the Padres. It's going to be interesting to see what excuse me, what they do with him going forward. Do they look at him as maybe more of a bullpen guy? Uh, Again, not sure that he will have. It's going to take him. I would have to believe it's going to take him a while to be able to get any kind of real innings. Or do they just look at the games that he pitches is where he's just the opener, and if he can go ahead and get 2 innings, he gets 2 innings. Who knows what that is going to turn into. So it's going to be very, very interesting. Sticking with the Dodgers, the one of the main owners of the Dodgers looks like he's gonna the Bus family has said they're gonna sell a large portion of the ownership of the Lakers. So $10 billion evaluation. That is crazy. $10 billion valuation. So I don't know what the I think, like I said, I don't know if it's just controlling interest, like 51% he's going to buy, or if he's going to buy, more. But it's the guy who owns the guy who owns the what do you call it, the Dodgers. So they're entering an agreement to sell a majority of the ownership to Mark Walter. The Bus family will keep a minority share of the team, just over 15% for a period of time. Jeannie Buss will remain the governor for the team for at least a number of years. Uh, Obviously, all that's good. Walter is the CEO, chairman of TWG. He has interests in the Dodgers. He has the Sparks. He has the Premier League, Chelsea, Professional Women's Hockey League. So he also owns auto racing teams, including Cadillac, Formula One. So that's just crazy. That guy is he's getting in, he's getting big time. So uh, good for them. They might as well go ahead and get what they can. I mean, if it's a $10 billion valuation and they're going to sell 85% of it, I don't know. $8.5 billion ain't a bad thing to go ahead and pick up. I think that's pretty cool. I think that dog will hunt, from that standpoint. Um WNBA is going crazy. Caitlin Clark is getting freaking beat up like nuts. They have the Commissioner's Cup. It's going to be Indiana Fever against the Minnesota Lynx. So luckily for the WNBA, they did go ahead and get Indiana into this Commissioner's Cup. So he doesn't know where he wants to go. So from that standpoint, but again, a lot of sport, it's weird, we're at the end, right? We're at the end where we have, a lot of different sports going on, basketball, hockey is ended. Uh, Basketball is going to be, potentially, ending look, basketball is going to end in the next couple of days, uh, no matter what, because when you look at the NBA schedule, They go Thursday and they go Sunday. So we're in the final week of the basketball season. Uh, it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. Then we get into the dog days of summer, where it's just, for us baseball fans, we love it. For overall, what do you call it? Sports fans, well, you're gonna lack in some stuff and everything. Durant goes where? Man, I tell you, I really don't know. With that big deal that just happened with Desmond Bain going from Memphis to Orlando, that is a that's a big deal right there. Uh, I really don't know where he could go. I would think he would only want to go where he could potentially win a title. I would think that. I would think he would want to do something along those lines. But then what gets me from that standpoint is where, like, who is close. Um I heard he wants to come to the New York Knicks, but I guess the owner is being petty about it because 5 years ago he went ahead and because he picked Brooklyn, he picked the Brooklyn Nets over the New York Knicks when he had a chance as a free agent, and it sounds like the owner's like, nope, ain't gonna happen. Not having him come. Again, I would think he'd want to go to a team that's going to win a title. You don't know what Phoenix wants in return. They're gonna want picks. I gotta believe they're gonna want some players. You know, Knicks don't really have a lot of stuff to give. There's a lot of things. I mean, Houston is definitely definitely right there. They have the young talent that they're loaded with young talent that they could go ahead, and give up. They have some picks that they could give up also, you know. But I mean, you add Kevin Durant there, does that make them more like do they become more of a favorite to get to the finals? Are they, are they all of a sudden now are they better than OKC? Are they better than Minnesota? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, if I mean, Giannis to Houston would, in my opinion, would be a lot better. But the problem you have from that standpoint, Sean, is I guess could him and Sangoon, play together at the same time? Could that, would you'd have that double big lineup, and uh I'm not sure that they would want to go that route. What is happening, Brandon? I've got you running in the background since the live stream and still backstage with sticks. The volume is turned off for now. All right, man. That's right. You guys were back. You guys came back. Uh, so I don't know. But I appreciate you having it on, Brandon. Thank you very much. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. I'm not sure about, what do you call it? I'm not sure about cap and all that kind of stuff when that kicks in, what they got to do there. So who knows? Who really knows? I mean, those are the two names that people. I mean, they're the two, I guess, biggest names per se for right now. Those names they could change. Because you don't know what teams are going to, wind up, doing. You don't know what those teams are going to wind up doing. Um, from that standpoint, but who knows? Uh, who knows? I'd like to see Giannis come to New York. I think he would be an incredible fit, but I don't know how you make it work with the Knicks. From an asset perspective, salary perspective. That's the only thing. That's the only thing. Like with Houston, with some of these teams, that's the one thing that's different about the NBA than in other sports. Um, you know, the money has to the money has to be the same. So sometimes you have to get a third team to go ahead and come in who will take on some stuff and everything to make the money work, or be able to add something to make the money work. So the NBA trade stuff is very interesting. From that standpoint. Um, but baseball, I mean, even like when you look at baseball right now, I mean, not a lot. I mean, there really isn't like the oh my gosh stuff going on. Um, again, other than the Shohei thing, there is a report right now that maybe Tampa Bay may sell to another guy in Florida. Um, you know, we'll uh we'll see what happens there. Bunch of you have your normal injuries going on. Crazy stuff happening with some of the guys that are getting that have gotten injured, guys that are still out. Um, from that standpoint, it's like right now again, like with baseball, what's so hard? It's so hard to take things for what they're worth, if that makes sense, right? You know, you look at the Mets, you look at where they were, then they come down here. They play the baseball team from Georgia, and they look like a completely different team. It's like crazy. It's crazy, but it's middle of June, middle of June. So I don't know. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. The trade deadline is going to be probably one of the more interesting things for baseball this year. Um, to see who might make some moves for some stuff. I'm not sure how that is going to go ahead and work out. Excuse me a second. All right, we're back. Let's see what else. I don't know, man. Do I have to start doing like a fishing report? um, Dom, if you're still here, I haven't forgotten about your suggestions. I've just been working so much that I haven't been able to really go ahead and put anything like that together. Um, you know, but yeah, unfortunately, I mean, they're all, it is what it is. I mean, yeah, it is what it is. Philadelphia won, which hey, the Yankees lost, so that's it's still a good day there from that standpoint. Um, Walking, if you're here, I don't know if you saw, but the Royals shut down Raggins. You were at their last win. That's not a good thing to say, man. I mean, that sucks, but yeah. So who knows? Who knows what's gonna who knows what do you so what we had you know the Rafael Devers trade. Um, that was surprising. Uh, but you could tell he just I think look, he in my opinion from maybe not between the white lines, but I think everything else he was gonna do, um, he was gonna do it to try and make them trade him. The whole stance in the beginning of, you know, not wanting to shift positions, wanted to stay at third, even though they signed, Bregman, then, agreed to go be DH just to be DH. And then a teammate gets hurt out for the season. They ask him to play first base, and he says, "No, I'm not going to change positions again." And he really didn't. I mean, I don't know. I guess to me, going from third base to DH is not changing a position. You're just basically leaving your glove at home. But if you want to think that's changing a position, you go right ahead. You know, and just being like that in the dugout, in the back in the clubhouse and stuff, I think was bad. But then they come out when you get traded and say, "Hey, I'll play wherever the Giants need me to play." That's not good, man. That is not good. I hope the Giants love him. Um, I mean, he was going to go back to playing third base no matter what when he got traded to the Giants because Chapman's out for a while. But you know, I mean, people are going, "Oh my gosh, he's going to hit like Barry Bonds." No, he ain't. He's not going to hit like Barry Bonds. Stop it. Just stop it. And I don't care that he walked into the clubhouse the first time with Barry Bonds. He is nowhere near Barry Bonds. So just stop it. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the only problem you have is there are only going to be a certain number of teams that are going to be willing to eat that contract of what is it? He has like 250, $260 million in what, like 9 years left on that contract. It's not going to age well. I mean, you think about it. I don't know what kind of first baseman he could be, but he wasn't a good third baseman, and he's only going to get older. And so even if he were to stay at third base, he was only going to get worse. Excuse me. Again, I don't know what kind of first baseman he could be. Excuse me. I don't know what kind of first baseman he could be, but you know, who knows? Yeah, yeah. They figure out a way to do it, which is crazy to me. Somehow, somehow they're able to go ahead and do it. I mean, look, I don't wish the guy. I don't wish the guy to get hurt. I don't want, but it's just like, you know what? I just don't like the way that whole thing went down. I don't like the way that whole thing went down. I think it was bad. I think it's a bad look on him. I mean, hopefully his new teammates love him. Um, you know, until something happens. Because the thing is this: you look at it from this standpoint. He's going to go there right now. He's going to play third base until Chapman comes back. When Chapman comes back, I don't know. I don't know if Chapman can play first base, but I doubt they would move Chapman over there because fielding wise, Chapman way better than Devers. So Devers is like, oh, okay, hey, I agree. I'll play first base. What good is that going to do? And how long is that going to last? You know, when uh when San Francisco's top prospect, Bryce Eldridge, guess what? He plays first base. So, you know, and he's 20 years old and he's already in AAA. He's a first round pick, I think. 20 years old, AAA. Dude is 6'7". He's a big man. So you're gonna have Devers be again. He's gonna at some point in time this year, or in worst case scenario, if he decides to learn how to play first base, he's gonna get moved to DH permanently when Eldridge comes up. When Eldridge comes up, boom, he's done. And they're not gonna start him at third base over Matt Chapman. Ain't gonna happen. So, you know, yeah, I don't know where worse he could have gotten traded to. Um, but I was I was hoping that the Mets would not try and get him. Although I don't know if he again would have been any different with Lindor and Soto there, more, Latino play Marte, more Latino players and stuff. If that would have helped him. If he would have changed a little bit, but if he would have come to New York, I mean, my gosh, again, right now he'd be a good third baseman for us, but I still wouldn't like him there, and I wouldn't want that contract. Because I don't know. To me, in my opinion, he just seems like the type of player that contract is not going to age well. Luckily for him, I mean, the one thing, this, getting rid of, or adding the DH to the National League, this is the kind of things that helps guys like Raf Devers and some of these other guys, because some of these other guys would have, that have nowhere. They'd have nowhere to go. They'd have to, they'd be limited in where they could go. So, it makes it definitely has made certain things happen that would not have happened in the past. Excuse me. But we will see. And it's crazy. It's like, you knew that there had to be something else happen, because the Red Sox were on a what, 5-game winning streak. They just went ahead and swept the Yankees. And then this happens. So, I mean, one of the good things for the Red Sox is, they have, they had two of the top when Marcelo Mayer was down there, they had two of the top what 8 prospects in all of baseball. And Campbell was even, if Campbell would have been stayed in the minors, he probably would have been up there. So they had 3 really good young players, so they put him in. But now what do the Red Sox do? There's talk that they may be willing to trade Durant. Why? I don't know why you'd want to do that unless somebody comes to you and makes you, a Don Corleone, offer that you can't refuse. To me, that's the only way, that happens. Um, but other than that, again, there's not, not much out there. So that's what I was saying. Some of the trading deadline stuff is going to be interesting. Our team's going to be willing to make a trade. Some of the teams that won't be in the playoffs or won't be near playoffs, are they going to be willing to make a trade to free a spot up for a guy in the minors? Would Pittsburgh deal Mitch Keller so they could open up a spot for Bubba Chandler? Would Philadelphia, they wouldn't, because they're up there. Arizona, I don't know if Arizona would do something for any of their, top guys. What are some of the other top guys? I mean, a lot of your top guys are in, are in Double A still. Would they make moves though? Would Minnesota consider moving, let's say, Buxton, if they think Walker Jenkins is ready to go? Who else? Of course, you know, I'm just trying to think for other teams' potential. I mean, there are guys that are already up. I mean, Chase Burns for Cincinnati. But who would Cincinnati move? Because their pitching staff is not very old. I don't know if they have, maybe a Hunter Green potentially. to bring up a Chase Burns. Uh, I don't think Texas would do anything with their middle infielders to get Walcott up. Uh, Padres, they got that Leo D. Varies. I don't think they'd make him. He's still only in like high A. He's in high A ball, maybe double A ball. I doubt they would, blow their guys up, blow their team up to see about you know, what they get, unless somebody's willing to take. If he's going to stay shortstop, you'd need somebody to take. What's his name, Xander Bogarts. You'd need somebody to take that contract, and I think that might be a hard contract to go ahead and move. So from a trading from a trading deadline perspective, who's gonna be available? I don't know. I don't know. What are they gonna do? One of the things I think is really good is we are seeing some of these younger guys make it to the big leagues probably a little bit sooner than what would have been, because teams are saying, hey, you know what? Let's give these kids a chance. Let's go ahead and play them. Let's see what we go ahead and have. And maybe we see, more of that. But you gotta have, to do that, you're gonna have to move off of some players. You're gonna have to willing to be, you have to be willing to go ahead and and trade, and see what you can go ahead and get back in return. I don't know, any of these minor league guys that might be ready. I don't necessarily know what kind of haul you could get for who you were going to get rid of. So let's say like a Pittsburgh, right? They're not going to get rid of Skeens. Um, they're not going to get rid of Jones. The one guy, a little older, contract wise, Mitch Keller. Okay. If you want to get rid of Mitch Keller to make a spot for Bubba Chandler, what are you really going to get from Mitch Keller? You're not calling up. Oh, let's use the Mets for example, right? You know, you're not calling up the Mets and saying, "Hey, we'll give you Bubba Chandler. Who are you going to give us?" I, I don't think you're getting a top 10 prospect for him. Maybe you can potentially buy if you're going to the Mets. I don't think you're getting any of the Mets top 10, top 11, top 12 prospects. Mitch Keller, nope, nah, not for that guy. Yeah, I mean, what happened, man? The Nats seem to be doing halfway decent, you know, and Colorado was just yikes, you know. No, Keller is good. I agree. Keller is good, but what I'm saying though, Locken, is for I don't know if he gets you I don't know what kind of haul he could get a team like the Pirates. Like, to me, you're moving off of him because you don't want to pay him. I don't know if you're going to get a big haul for a guy like Mitch Keller. And that's the only reason why I brought that up, is because I heard he might go. And I wouldn't mind seeing him come to the Mets. I think the Mets could definitely go ahead and use him for sure. With the rotation that we have, he would definitely go ahead and, be a good addition to our to uh our rotation. But I don't think you're getting Drew Gilbert for him. I don't think you're getting one of the top 4 or 5 pitching prospects that the Mets have. I'm just saying, like, a team you'd have to find a team that would be willing. Uh, yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that part. He is signed through 28, and he does not make a lot of money. So yeah, well, yeah. I mean, thinking about it like that way, he may bring a little more than I thought. I thought he was a free agent after 26. I didn't realize he was signed through 28. So that's really wow. Mm, I mean, that changes for a guy like him. But I could see him doing better, on a better team and a better scenario. I think, you know, I wouldn't mind if the Mets could get him on the cheap. I wouldn't mind if the Mets went after Luis Robert. Now I know a lot of people go, "Oh my gosh, he's washed, he's this, he's that, and everything." I get it. But a guy who's still what, 27, 28 years old, you know, yes, struggling, not doing well. Is it I'm tired? Is he going ahead and, tired of being with the White Sox and knowing what they're going through and maybe a change of scenery, helps him. Um, but I mean, again, if you get him for cheap, why not give it a shot? Keller does need a good defense. He's not a swing and miss pitcher. Uh, but I could see him, like I said, to me, he's a guy that jumped out at me that I could see them going ahead and potentially moving on from. I mean, again, he's not, I mean, he'll get you your 31, 32 starts. He'll throw you, 175 to 200 innings. He'll get you a few strikeouts, so on and so forth. But what I'm saying. Lou Bob hitting 194. Tyrone Taylor is way better right now. I don't disagree that present day they that Tyrone Taylor or Tyron Taylor is better today. But if you look at certain things, Dom, Tyrone is 31 years old. Tyrone Taylor, for as good as he is, I mean, you know, he's really not been a starter. He's hitting 237. Okay. He has 2 home runs, 15 RBIs, and he has 8 stolen bases. Uh, that's not like, that's not great. I'm not trying to go ahead and say it's great. Luis Robert is 27 years old, 6 homers, 28 RBIs, and he steals more again, and he's really good defensively. Um, the guy's 2 years away from a 23 season when he hit 38 home runs and everything. Again, I'm just saying if you can get a guy like that for, you know, 2 super low level prospects, why not see what you could get? Why not see his no, he's definitely playing a lot more. Well, no. He's played 65 games, has 228 at 226 at bats. Tyron has played in 66 games, has 194 at bats. So about a 30 at bat difference. Um, like I said, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that's one of those ones where if the price was so cheap, it's worth a flyer to see if a change of scenery unlocks him and gets him more motivated to play well like he did 2 years ago. I don't know about salary wise, yeah. Well, and that's true. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think a lot of it is just waiting for Jet to see what Jet can do. Blue Jays got hot, so no Bichette trade. Yeah, I tell you though, I mean, that one's gonna. I mean, that's gonna. I think that's gonna come and bite them in the rear end, Larkin, if they don't. Mullins is another guy you could go ahead and get. I think the thing about the Mets, though, to be honest with you, if we're just talking about the Mets, I think anybody that they are looking for, in my humble opinion, is maybe a 1 year, maybe a 1 year, maybe 2. I like Jet Williams a lot, but he has battled some injuries. So he is, he hasn't been able to, he's not, I mean, he's doing well right now. He is our number one, he is our number one prospect, our number one guy in the minor leagues of what he's been doing for right now and everything. But like I said, for me personally, I think he might be, I think maybe he can get called up sometime next year. I don't know. Mets are in a tough spot. They really are when you think about it. They have the potential to lose their first baseman next year. People go, "Oh, what are you kidding me? Pete's not going to go anywhere." That's not necessarily true. Um, if Pete continues, if his numbers get okay, and if he's hitting at the end of the year, if Pete Alonso is in that 280 average or higher, he's opting out and gonna have to go ahead and offer him a big deal. And I think to have him come back, and at his age, I don't know if Cohen and Stearns are going to be willing to do that. So that's going to be a tough one from that standpoint. Um, you know, but again, I think Jet, to Dom, to your thing, Jet's still only 21 years old. Again, in my opinion, the issue you have had is that he he hasn't played a lot of games. He played 121 games in 2023, but last year he only played in 33 games, and he's only played in 57 games so far this year. Again, the average is there. He's not hitting a lot of home runs, but I don't think he's going to be a home run guy. He's 19 stolen base and he's hitting over 300. I think there's all things that that he does and stuff that are going to be good and everything. You know, I'm a little nervous, Dom. I don't know if I want my a center fielder that's 5'7", 175 pounds. I don't know about that. I really don't. So to me, it's gonna be interesting to see what he does. There's not much there's not much to trade. Just a Toomsy. Yeah, as of right now, that's the thing, man. That's the thing, Locking. That's a great point. You know, who's gonna like what big team that thinks Bo is the difference is gonna be willing to make that move other than the Dodgers, you know? I mean, San Francisco's not. And it's a team that's gonna want and you think about it from a standpoint of is it's gotta be a team who thinks they're gonna be able to re-sign him, that they're gonna give up, a haul, you know, because of that also. But that's another thing to remember, it's like, he's a free agent. It's not like he has any I don't think he has, there's no club options or arbitration or anything like that. I believe he's a free agent. He's a UFA, I think. Sanchez, Alcantara, Reynolds. Yeah, I think definitely those guys are definitely guys that can be had for sure. Yes, Lance Johnson. Yes, yes. Yeah, I mean, I can't. Dom, you make you make an argument that cannot be you make an argument that cannot be disputed. Lance Johnson. Let's see. Lance Johnson played for 13 years. He was 5'10", 160 pounds. He hit 34 home runs in his career. All right, Locken, have a good one, buddy. Thank you for hanging out. Much appreciated. Yeah, that's the only thing that concerns me um about Jet Williams is uh is his size. You know, uh, but you got Carson Binge, who's another kid who is that they drafted last year, who's really good. Clifford is an interesting one. I thought Clifford. Uh, I'm sorry, Gilbert. Gilbert is one, but then Gilbert's only 5'9" also. So I don't know, man. No, I'm looking them up right there on the screen, right there. Lance Johnson. There you go. I'm not lying. Lance Johnson, 34 home runs. 34 home runs. He stole a lot of bases. I'm not lying. Yep, Michaelpedia. um, yeah. So I don't know. It's gonna be it really will be interesting to see what kind of things happen. But Larkin makes that, he made he made a great point. When you look at the standings, and then if you go to wild card standings, I mean, if you look at the wild card right now, in reality, in the American League, the White Sox are 14 and a half games out. They're not going to get there. The Athletics are 8.5. Doubt they could make it up. Baltimore is 6.5 out, which is the one that's surprising. Could they? Yeah, I guess they could. They could get hot. They have enough talent on that team. After that, every other team is 2 games out of the final wild card spot. You go to the National League, Rockies 23, the Pirates are 11, the Miami's 10, the Nationals are 10. The baseball team from Atlanta is 6. After that, everybody else is 3.5 or less. So, the things are a lot tighter right now. Here we are, middle of June. Now we have 6 weeks before the trading deadline. A lot of things can happen. You get a couple injuries here or there. Who knows? But Toronto sitting in that last, wild card spot, they'd have to be blown away by an offer to get rid of Bo, you would think. I mean, it would suck to have him just walk, but you would think that they would have to they'd have to get blown away. So I don't know. We will see what happens. We will see what happens. Who's this? Rameez Robinson spent 9 years with the Chiefs, filed a lawsuit. Huh. Oh well. So, well, everybody, we've been going for a while. Dami, Larkin, Johnny, uh, Sean, Dusty. Thanks for go ahead and hanging out. Um, Again, next week will be the last week at 10 p.m. And then after that, we will move to 9 p.m. Hopefully, we can get a few more people in here, get more conversation going. Might be easier to go ahead and get some guests. Thank you very much, Tom. Much appreciated. Thank you for the continued unwavering support. Much appreciated. Um, and hopefully, our team can figure out and get a win tomorrow night. Thanks a lot, everybody.